Set in an idyllic corner of Europe, on a rough and remote mountain, a handful of vine growers hold on to the tradition of cultivating the vineyards of their forefathers, producing wines of unrivaled value. Here, on the island of Aphrodite, where vine cultivation and winemaking date back some 5,500 years, among the oldest in the world, wine is produced from age-old vineyards, a few of them at an altitude of up to 1,500 meters, probably the highest in Europe. In most wine-growing areas of Europe, viticulture ceases at around 1,000 meters. In this area, where vineyards are cultivated between 800 and 1,500 meters at steep gradients over 30%, viticulture is practiced by a small number of truly passionate people, kept here by an irresistible love for their land. Who are the people that continue to cultivate these centuries-old, own-rooted vineyards on steep and rough slopes? Who could have planted these vines at 1,400 meters with such a skill and care to blend nicely in the steep and rough terrain? How is the taste and aroma of wine made from these vineyards? Where is this place? In a cluster of mountainous villages that form an exquisite geographic area of unrivaled and unique geological value. Troodos is the main mountain range of Cyprus, with its peak, Mount Olympus, at 1,953 meters. It is characterized by high mountain peaks, dense vegetation of black pine, and the picturesque villages that surround its high peaks. It has emerged from the bottom of the sea 90 million years ago, forming an ophiolitic complex, probably the most complete and well-studied piece of oceanic crust in the world. As part of the Troodos Geopark, Viticulture is characterized by a unique geomorphology and soils that originate from the ophiolite rocks of the Troodos mountain range that may have been formed on diabase and gabbro rocks. The highest peaks are Madari at 1,612 meters and Paputsa at 1,554 meters. The picturesque villages of Viticulture, nestled in slopes among vineyards and orchards, still maintain their traditional charm and natural beauty. Driving to the high mountains of Viticulture, we are initially greeted by the vineyards on the slopes that surround the villages of Pharmakas, where, for centuries, they are cooled by the fresh breeze flowing from the Mediterranean Sea. The vineyards are located at altitudes of 1,300 meters on the steep slopes surrounding the village. Here, there are no dry stone structures to hold the soil, a unique element that forbids any kind of mechanical work in the cultivation process. Only heroes of viticulture can produce wines of unique flavor and aroma, with respect towards a tradition of vine cultivation and wine making. A little further up, at Petralona, between the villages of Alona and Agros, as we navigate through the old narrow road that crosses the own-rooted vineyards, and while exploring the mountain slopes, a surprise fascinates us. A newly planted vineyard dominates the wonderful mountainous landscape at an altitude of 1,485 meters. Just beneath the peak of Madari, we climb to the highest vineyard in Cyprus and amongst the highest in Europe, at an altitude of 1,501 meters. Close by, on the slopes surrounding Giberunda village, traditional vineyards of the Mavro and Xinisteri varieties are complemented by more recent vineyards of both local and internationally renowned grape varieties. On these rough high mountains, viticulture is an activity rooted in centuries of tradition and knowledge of high-altitude vine growing. The knowledge is enriched with science, paving the way to exquisite wines produced at such unique conditions and altitudes. The combination of colder temperatures, the extended exposure to sunlight, and the significant daily temperature variations contribute to the development of complex aromas and a balanced acidity in the grapes. The extended cultivation period also leads to a gradual maturity, resulting in well-developed flavors of the wines and produced at these high altitudes. The extended cultivation period also leads to a gradual maturity, resulting in well-developed flavors of the wines produced at these high altitudes. Furthermore, the increased exposure to sunlight contributes to the production of a thicker skin on the grapes, an element that enhances the color and the antioxidant qualities of wine, thus increasing its overall quality and aging potential. Incomes are low due to the poor yields achieved. Production costs are high due to the difficult access to the rugged slopes. Dangers arising from extreme weather conditions are constantly high, but our vine growers remain rooted in this land because of the passion for making good wine, continuing a centuries-old tradition. Today, more than any other time, this effort is a necessity for the maintenance of biodiversity and the ecosystems of the mountainous Pitsilia, where land erosion poses a permanent risk. Wine from these vineyards continues writing its age-old story. For the winemaker, each bottle encapsulates his passion and love for his vineyards and his land. The toil of cultivating vines on rugged mountainsides, the joy of giving to the environment a promise of an everlasting sustainability, and to the world, treasures of wine enjoyment.